I'm Nancy. I've been a community healthcare worker for 7 years, and I feel honored that we got to do this musculoskeletal injury prevention video, because I think it's very important for care workers. When I first started working, I got myself into a little predicament, and I didn't know what to do with the client. It was a lady, and she didn't speak English, and I didn't know really how to communicate with her. And she was demented, and she didn't know. They're usually very afraid of having a bath. Everything went quite well until we were about halfway to the bath, and then she resisted. And I didn't know what. I should have just probably sat her down and called the office and asked for help. But, you know, we had a little struggle, and then she finally did go into the tub, but it just could have been done much better. And that's another thing, too, is when you've done something, you know, and you've moved ahead with it, try to think next time on how it might be done a little bit more smoother and easier without less injury. Community healthcare workers are very innovative when it comes to finding new ways and helpful ways of dealing with clients. And that is one of the most things that I hope the video demonstrated was communication is almost everything. People can't help you if they don't know what kind of situation you're in. So yeah, with all that, I hope that it'll create like a bigger awareness out there in the field.
As a community worker, you face special challenges when trying to prevent injuries to you and your clients. Community health workers often work alone, which means that they are often not able to call for assistance if a transfer gets difficult. And being rural, we have to be innovative in problem solving because resources and equipment are not always available. Vancouver Coastal Health is committed to minimizing the risk of injury to staff and patients, clients and residents. That's why they have established the Musculoskeletal Injury Prevention Program, or MSIPP, and the Vancouver Coastal Health No Lift policy to help prevent injuries in your workplace.
Hi, Patricia. It's Nancy from Home Support.
Your workplace is your client's home, and each client and home presents different and numerous environmental and other barriers.
I think working in the community puts workers at risk, because every time you walk into a house, the scenario is different. The bed's a different height. The bed's against the wall. The bathrooms are different. The wheelchairs sometimes work, sometimes don't. They don't fit through the doorways. That's the thing about working in the community, is each and every situation is totally different, and each and every client is totally different. In the past, our clients were fairly independent, and they did a lot for themselves, and we just had to help them a little bit. However, over the last 6 years, I've also seen it becoming more and more extended care level people in the home, and that means they require total care. Turning in bed, getting dressed in bed, bathing in bed, using mechanical lifts in the home to move them from a bed to a wheelchair. We never did that 6 years ago. People just went to facility.
Injuries can be painful and can keep you off the job for an extended period. You could also be jeopardizing the health of your clients. What's more, these injuries to you or your clients result in increased healthcare costs.
When we have an injury, often that means there's sick time that needs to be taken, and then we have to call in other staff to replace the person who has been injured. And what ends up happening is it's like a mushroom effect. We have to adjust people's schedules in home support so that almost everybody working that day will have some modification done to their schedule, so it impacts the whole team. The other part is we have to also support that sick person through wages because it's time loss. We have to review how that incident happens, and that involves, again, a team of people looking over a situation to see how it could have been prevented so it doesn't happen again. It could result in a long-term disability claim, which means to us as an organization, a replacement of a staff for a few years or longer, but to that individual that was injured, it could be a lifelong injury that impacts on the rest of their lives.
This video will provide you with an awareness of potential hazards at the job site and also offer specific skills to keep you and your client free of musculoskeletal injuries in the workplace. But what is a musculoskeletal injury? It's an injury to joints, muscles, tendons, ligaments, nerves, and other soft tissue. The most common injuries are strains, sprains, and tendinitis. A strain is a stretch or overstretch of a muscle. A sprain is an overstretch of ligaments, strong bands of connective tissue that connect one bone to another. An inflammation in a tendon or in a tendon covering is called tendinitis. What usually causes tendinitis is not just a single injury, but a series of small stresses that repeatedly aggravate the tendon. If you have a musculoskeletal injury, you often will have pain, stiffness, swelling, or bruising. These are signs and symptoms of an injury. A sign of an injury is something objective that somebody else can see or observe. The most common examples of signs of musculoskeletal injuries are swelling, bruising, or stiffness. A symptom of an injury is something subjective that the person having the injury feels. The most common examples of symptoms of musculoskeletal injuries are pain, numbness, and tingling. Signs and symptoms may appear very suddenly or gradually over time. Regardless of their onset, they indicate that something is wrong. They have to be taken seriously, and medical help might be required to prevent a severe or chronic injury. There are 5 main risk factors in your daily work that may cause you to get hurt. These are exertion of force, use of awkward postures, use of static postures, repetition, and contact stress. Lifting, pulling, pushing, and grasping motions are examples of exertion of force. Using awkward postures like bending over, twisting, and overreaching put a lot of physical stress on your neck, shoulder, and back. Maintaining a part of the body or the whole body in one position for a long period of time may cause problems. This is called static posture. Doing the same movement over and over often may cause an injury. This is called repetition. Having something hard or sharp pressing against a body part is called contact stress. Contact stress may also cause injuries. You can control these risk factors by practicing 6 ways of controlling risk. Communicate. Talk to your clients and co-workers and take the time to plan your moves before you try them. Call the office to clarify if you are not sure of the plan. Report actual or potential hazards. Remember, it's okay to say no if you think it's not safe. Body mechanics is an important way to control injury risk. Remember to plan your move. Don't bend or twist. Stay close to your work. Use large muscles like the legs, shoulders, and arms when possible. Use a stable base of support. Use smooth movements. And avoid hurried or jerky actions. Tools and equipment. When you can, use the transfer belt for transfers and adjustments. Take advantage of client lifting devices and use the sliding sheet for repositioning clients. Organize your work. Make sure that the staffing is adequate for the job at hand. Try to lessen the number of heavy tasks required. Take rest breaks and slow down. Make sure you have enough time for the task and let someone know if you don't. Adapt the work environment. A very important way of lessening the possibility of injury is to adapt the work environment. Learn to recognize and remove potential hazards before they have a chance to injure you or your client.
Well, environmentally, if you don't have a safe environment, you're not going to work properly. So the best body mechanics aren't going to work well in a poor environment. You have to have a good environment to use your body mechanics properly.
From the time you step onto a client's property and enter the home, you have to constantly analyze the environment to identify possible problems and risks. Common hazards are extension cords, cables, or hallway clutter that you could trip over. Put away loose carpeting and rugs that might also cause you to trip or slip. Take special caution around loose or uneven footing surfaces. Loose or faulty stair railings are a potential hazard, as are low overhead objects in your path. Adapt the environment by using what you have to make your work safe. And finally, keep fit. It's important to keep fit as a precaution in avoiding injury. Warm up before you start work and stretch throughout the day. Be sure to include strengthening, stretching, and cardiovascular activity outside of your workday. Sleep and eat well, and remember to allow for periods of relaxation at home and on the job. By following these 6 simple guidelines, communicate, body mechanics, tools and equipment, organize work, adapt the environment, and keep fit, you can help to make your work site injury-free.